NBA talent, not NBA yet, but getting there. We got Bronny James, who has been in the news recently after he significantly boosted his draft stock in the NBA Combine after he had a mediocre college season at the University of Southern California. Bronny had a 40.5-inch vertical, which at 6'1" is crazy. He also hit 19 of 25 threes. As I mentioned, though, he's only 6'1". He does have a 6'7" wingspan, which is really, really impressive. All that in mind, though, where do you think Bronny will get drafted? Will he have a solid career? Those are big questions everyone's asking about Bronny James right now. Also, let me throw in a third one. Will he play with LeBron in his first season? Because everybody assumes it will happen. But in reality, the NBA is a business. If trades don't happen and moves don't get made, will it happen at all?
I think there's a 100% chance that this happens. I definitely think LeBron and Bronny will play together for 1 year, and I think that's where LeBron will just say, "Yeah, I'm out. I just want it." He just wants to play one season with his son, just kind of mentor him for the rest of his career afterwards. But this is an important year for Bronny James. This is where he shows everyone that he is LeBron's son, and there's a reason why he's LeBron's son, right? But what I'm not sold on Bronny. If I'm being honest, I mean, any NBA player can shoot 19 of 25 like this. At practice, you could absolutely drain him every time. There's no pressure. You're just making shots. When Dwight Howard makes 10 of 10 threes, that says a lot. It means that Bronny had. So it was special to watch, but it's not so special at the same time, right? Any NBA player could do that. However, when it came to the 4-on-4, 5-on-5 combine type of training thing, that's when he really showed that he's able to stand out from the guys in this draft. And he really boosted his draft stock doing all this. And a 4.5-inch vertical, so a 40-inch vertical is crazy at 6'1". You could dunk, you could do whatever you want at that. But again, when you have a 5-point average in, I think, your first or second year of college, it is not time to go to the NBA. It is not. LeBron could easily have 2 more or 3 more years left in him. I don't see what the rush was at this point. I think Bronny can do whatever the hell he wants because his dad's got the money. He's set for life already. He doesn't even have to do anything. Right? I don't think it's a good move from Bronny. I don't know what was put into his head. But I don't think he's going to do too good in his first 3 years of playing because he's still very young and only had 1 season in college and did really bad.
I feel like, yes, his draft stock was boosted, but it was boosted from he's not going to get drafted to maybe being a late round draft pick. And from what it sounds like, whoever takes him or whoever signs Bronny James will get LeBron as well. And I think that's a motivator for some teams. Reportedly, the Utah Jazz have had interest in Bronny James. A couple other teams, there's rumors about the Knicks, there's rumors about the Cavaliers, and obviously the Los Angeles Lakers, because LeBron is basically the GM there at that point. But Bronny did not have a good season at USC. I understand he had some medical issues during the season. He was still in a recovery phase. But entering the draft is not a good decision at this point. I know it's LeBron's dream to play with his son, to be the first player ever, be another first thing ever. But this might stunt his growth as an NBA player. If Bronny took 1 more season at USC, say he averaged 10 points per game, and had an extra year of experience, that would work better for him, and LeBron would get to play a season with him still, because I still think LeBron has at least 2 more years left in him. Bronny worries me, though, at 6'1". I believe he's very talented, I believe he's very athletic, I believe he's got the genetics from LeBron, obviously, but I feel at 6'1", there's hasn't been many players with crazy success at that height. There's not really been any freakish point guards who can dunk. And I feel like although we see Bronny go with the between the legs dunks and we see all the flashy stuff, I'm not sure how well he can translate that into a game. He would need the finishing ability of someone like Jalen Brunson or Kyrie Irving. And those are very, very tough marks to hit. He's shorter than Stephen Curry. And Steph has problems driving into the paint. Steph has problems battling centers and getting finishes inside the paint. So this is part of the reason that I don't think Bronny James will be a first round pick or even a high second round pick. I think he's a late second, but if the right team has a good meeting with him, he has a good workout, he does good things, he keeps showing that he can be a good player, he might be a first round pick. And that's a huge stretch coming from something that he was going to go undrafted, coming from a player that was not even considered to be an NBA prospect at this point to now maybe being a top pick. And I think part of that, if he does go in the first round, part of that will have to be because the team will get LeBron. The team that picks him will also get LeBron.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, I definitely think Bronny could have had one more year as a professional college athlete instead of jumping straight into the fire in the NBA. I don't think Bronny understands how hard it is to be an NBA player alone. I think he didn't have went in straight to high school, so he doesn't know too much about that, right? So he thinks Bronny could probably do the same thing as he did, but Bronny is not as tall, not as big as LeBron is. So that's why I think he's gonna struggle a lot. And when you're standing 6'1", 6'2", it is really, really hard to succeed if you're not an elite shooter and you don't have elite finishing. The only reason why Curry succeeded is because he could shoot from anywhere at any time. He had the ball handling and could sometimes finish in the paint with the layups, and he still does today. But I'm not sure. I don't see what the rush is about. You can't, if it was LeBron that said something, or if it's just purely Bronny's decision, I don't get the rush. Just use one more season as a professional college athlete, and yep.
I think part of the rush is the pressure from LeBron. Because LeBron said it countless times, he wants to play with Bronny. And when LeBron's still playing at a high level, I'm sure he wants to play and he wants to compete with Bronny. I'm sure he doesn't want to get to 43, 44 years old and now Bronny's just entering the league. So I think that part of it is that he wants to play with Bronny now while he's still good and well Bronny is young, so he can kind of mentor and he can kind of work with him. Maybe he gets more than one season with him. I think, though, a run and dunk point guard is not really what teams want at this point. It's very rare that you
Saw it with
see someone
Jaja.
that stands six. Yeah, but it's very rare you see someone standing at 6'1" being able to dunk like he does, but I'm not sure NBA teams really value that as much as an elite shooter, an elite finisher, an elite play caller, something along those lines. I would bet money that we do not see Bronny poster any center in the league, especially when there's guys like Kristaps Porzingis standing at 7'2", Wembanyama standing at 7'5". There's a whole bunch of big players. There's a whole bunch of big centers guarding the paint right now, and paint defense has gotten competitive between the centers and competitive generally, and it's become harder and harder to score in the paint. His wingspan helps him a little bit, but it does not take away from the fact that he is 6'1". I think,
Mm,
though, come time, and I'm not saying he's an all-star, come time, I think he can be a serviceable player. I think with the right coaching, with the right skill set, with the right development, he can become good. Like, considered a good player, considered a starter. I think Bronny has a good path. He's been set up well, Now he needs, as soon as he gets to the NBA, he needs to keep working. He needs to ignore the LeBron hype and pave the way for his career. Because I think now Bronny can do whatever he wants with his career at this point because he has the athleticism. He's shown that he can shoot, and he's shown that he can be a pretty decent athlete.
Yep.